The contents of these videos are for educational purposes only. We do not suggest or recommend that you participate in any illegal activities. We are not lawyers, just law-abiding citizens. Please always perform your due diligence before determining what you may or may not do something.
We build too many walls and not enough bridges. Hey there, how's it going, you guys? Thanks for joining me for another episode of Bitcoin and Coffee. I'll be your host, Eugene Forrest. So, what's going on tonight? Well, we're talking about the dark web, right? We're actually talking about the dark markets tonight. We're going to talk about staying safe. You know, what kind of protocols you could take, what kind of protocols are necessary. We have not only our lovely co-host Samantha here joining us, but we also have our good friend Josh, right?
Good evening, everyone.
Howdy, y'all. Thanks for having me.
Oh, Josh, you are one of our favorite guests around here. We love it when you come on, and you know, we just want to give you a big shout out here from Bitcoin and Coffee, not only for everything you do to help us out around here with Bitcoin and Coffee, but for going ahead and agreeing to do this whole dark web series that we're working on, and this being episode number 2 of it, and us continuing to be able to run down the road and add more viewers to the channel based on this is fantastic. So I'm glad that you're helping out the cause here with us, my friend.
Yes, we love you. You're the only person that we know, that knows.
Well, you know what? It's a fascinating topic, and I like talking about it, so it's a good time.
Well, I think there's a little bit more to it than it also being fascinating. I think that it also kind of comes down to this fact that, you know, we're born where we're born, right? The rules are what they are, and there's not much we can do about it. And a lot of our freedoms are taken away from us based on these events. And not only does cryptocurrency give us financial freedoms, but the anonymity that we find in the dark web and with these dark markets to be able to purchase and partake in things that people tell us that we necessarily can't, it's expanding our freedoms.
I totally agree. I mean, seems like it's getting more important all the time. We're turning into China over here in the States. No offense on China, the government is very strict.
Yeah, no.
I mean, with the fact that we can see them protesting right now, it goes to stand that obviously there is a problem. They are too strict.
Oh, yeah, they're protesting, literally thinking that their government is, withholding stuff.
The people in Hong Kong...
We don't believe you.
The people in Hong Kong are saying that they don't want to necessarily come under Chinese rule because they're afraid of what kind of things are happening behind that wall.
I mean, yes, I don't know. I think that there is a lot of things that should be free that are no longer free because there are a couple bad people always, everywhere, for everything. So it's just I don't know. It seems like maybe we should have some choices. Maybe we should move that light.
I see there's a raindrop on the camera lens there, and I wasn't sure where that glare is coming.
There you go.
It was water. So, well, I guess breaking the conversation there, we got to segue into what we're supposed to be talking about. We were going to be talking about safety and security, right? The steps that you may want to be taking if you're actually going to go ahead and start engaging in these dark markets. There's quite a few of them out there, right? And, I mean, nobody wants to go to jail.
No, not
So,
generally. Yeah.
I'm not saying, that I have all the answers. I'm just saying that we're going to have a generalized discussion between me, Josh, and Samantha as normal Americans about, hey, if we did start considering the ideal of purchasing something off of these dark markets, what kind of protocol steps would we want to take? What kind of safety and security is there out there? The first thing I have is, people talk about that, hey, if you're going to be purchasing, you don't want to use your everyday laptop. You're going to want to have like a crappy burner laptop.
Yeah, that you can never be too safe. I mean, this stuff could come back to bite you in 10 years. Who knows? So,
That is true. The long arm of the law is very long. I mean, we see now that, the SEC and CFTC are finally coming after a lot of ICOs 2 years later.
yeah.
I mean, I
mean,
think, yeah.
If you are using your normal laptop, if you leave the house, make sure it's shut and that you have a password on it at the very least. That's how they busted the Silk Road guy, because they came up and got him before he could shut his laptop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were trying to wait to be able to catch him, because if he had closed his laptop, it would have been a lot harder to be able to get into it, to be able to have all the information they had that they used against them.
Yeah, and don't put don't like store your username on the thing. You have to, if you're on a market, you want to protect your username, protect your password, and yeah, don't leave any traces.
Well, because I actually wrote down like steps 1 through 8 here of certain protocols that I would kind of want to start, taking. And I mean, the first one was the burner laptop, possibly. The second thing was, there's a debate here on between using the Tails operating system, which requires 2 8 GB flash drives, or using a VPN service. Now, from my understanding, the debate is that Tails is slow, right? The VPN people, they could always give out your information, so you want to make sure you have a good VPN provider.
Right, or they could lie. Like, say you're out of somewhere, but your IP address really not be, from China or from somewhere, I guess. Maybe. I mean, you never know. It's a third party, but I don't know.
I didn't know about the Tails thing. That sounds.
Oh, it's
So
funky.
Oh,
It is funky,
go
Josh.
ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's basically you're running the operating system directly from the flash drive, so it's not.
When I looked into it, I have not tried this yet myself, but it's a Linux-based operating system, and you could run it off of one flash drive, but there is a setup way where you can run it off 2 flash drives, and it saves half on one flash drive and half on the other flash drive, and you also need a security password in order to access it. And then this way, it doesn't save any data to the computer, and all internet traffic is automatically routed through Tor with the operating system. People are saying that it's more secure, but I also hear that it's impossible to run a VPN. And then the other one that people were talking about was running a virtual box inside of your computer and running the Tails inside of the virtual box so that you could run a VPN.
Oh, a Turduncan of, yes, protection. Gotcha.
Well, they have VPN routers too.
This is what El Chapo does, right?
Yeah, probably.
I mean, if you were gonna be purchasing all of the time, or if you were gonna be a vendor, I mean, you would want to be taking as many of these safety protocols as you possibly could to help anonymize yourself.
Oh, especially a vendor, yes, definitely.
I mean, that's pretty much who they're targeting, is they want the vendors. They don't want the individual that's ordering the quarter of weed in the state that's borderline legal. They want the individual that's selling 10 pounds a day via the mail.
Well, I mean, in all law enforcementness or whatever, they want the distributor, you know. I mean, they don't want the dude who's handing out the counterfeit bills. They want the one who actually made it. They don't want the one prostitute. They want the madam or the pimp. You know, that's the way it works.
Let's see if I can rotate this camera just a little. Nope, that makes it worse.
Oh, awesome. Yeah.
There is like no winning with this light situation out here. We need special night lighting.
No, we need that carnival like lighting like you were talking about. Just the big long porch lighting stuff. Yeah. All right.
So, I mean, what? Then we're going to come next to the ideal of using public Wi-Fi.
Oh.
Right? Like going into a coffee shop, sitting in your vehicle outside of Walmart or something.
Okay, then.
Well, I mean, I've seen you can put the Tor browser on an Android phone. So, I mean, you know, what if you were to just put the Tor browser on your Android phone, sit in your car outside of Walmart? I mean, how anonymous are you then?
Yeah,
Maybe not your regular phone. Maybe, you know what I mean, like some crap phone you found.
I guess they could have a camera in there, and you wouldn't want to. You want to be careful that no one's like looking over your shoulder. But yeah, then they can't just trace it straight to your house. It makes it harder for them.
Right, like because it is a public
Wi-Fi
area.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just that it's.
I mean, you can even use VPNs on cell phones before you were to connect to the Tor browser while you were using a public Wi-Fi, so they didn't know that you were getting onto the Tor browser. Because some open Wi-Fi could stop you from using the Tor browser, like they could have it blocked.
Right, like yes, they just like parent blocks and like yes.
Right,
I
just
mean,
like the next question is usually like when you're talking, there are free VPNs.
Mm-hmm.
And that a free VPN is not necessarily what you're going to want to use if you're looking at doing something that could possibly do jail time, right? I mean, are you going to trust them to protect you?
For free?
For free.
For free. For free. Yes. I don't know about that one. I mean, seriously.
Yeah, they don't have much to lose if the government comes a knocking, you know.
Yeah, like it's like, ooh, third party and just out of the graciousness of your heart that it's gonna protect me.
Did they show ads or something? I don't know. How does that work?
Right.
Usually, like, they have a limit on how much data you can do either per day, per week, or per month.
Through their freeness.
And they have limitations on which hubs you could connect to. Most of them, like if you're in the United States, they'll make you connect to another one that's in the United States. They won't let you connect to places that are overseas to change your IP address.
So they kind of like give you a little bit, and then they have a paid version maybe that they try to get you to switch to.
Yeah, I think Hot Shield or something is one of the big ones.
Hot Shield.
It's that bottom one there. It's one of the ones that I use.
Oh, I don't know. There's like 15 icons down there, bro. I don't know.
Samantha, we gotta increase your technical know-how here eventually. You can't be here on Bitcoin and Coffee and keep calling everything a thingy.
It is all thingies and doobers, man. I know. I know. This is pushing my technical abilities right here, okay? There's lots of buttons. This is not, I know.
So, I mean, what are we looking at next then, right? Like, Bitcoin, right? One of our favorite topics around here is that we're looking at Bitcoin. That's usually what most of these markets take, either Bitcoin or Monero. Monero is built-in privacy. Bitcoin pseudo-anonymous, so we're going to have to do something about this, right? Especially if you went and bought it from Coinbase.
Oh, God.
You know, you're definitely not going to want to send directly from Coinbase to, like, Empire.
Are you sure? No monopoly? Like, just, like, straight.
So, I have a question about Monero. If you have Monero on an exchange, is that safe to send directly to the market? Or will they? I think it is, right?
It should be.
Yes, like I think it's completely anonymous from the get-go, right?
Yeah, I mean, Monero seems like it's probably a little easier if you can get it. I know Kraken has it, for example. I think it'd be a little bit cheaper than using a mixing service or something like that. But
Right, to take your Bitcoin to then make it.
I think Shapeshift and Changely also have Monero, which would be a better wallet to wallet transfer. Like you could switch your Bitcoin directly from your personal wallet into
Doesn't one of
Monero
them kind of have
and
a
have it
mixy
sent directly
thing?
to the exchange.
I was I was gonna say, I think one
I don't
of
know.
them have a mixy
I would
thing that
want to
you can
have.
do anyways
You-
for free.
I would still want to have a step in the middle where I controlled it. Like, I still don't think I'd want to send my Bitcoin to somebody to an exchange and then turn it into Monero and then send it directly. Just because even if they're going to send a Monero transaction for you, they're going to know the receiving address. And if for some reason the U.S. government came back in on this and said to the exchange, give us all your data, and
They
they
might
could
be able to
plug
have
that
an account,
address,
yeah.
and then they could plug you from the KYC. And even though Monero is anonymous, they actually have a log from the
Right, because the exchange is not anonymous.
right. But if you took your own wallet in between holding Monero, and then went from your wallet to the dark
Yes,
market,
to it. Then there is,
then only you would have a record of that transaction going to the dark market because you controlled the wallet that sent the transaction.
Yes, and you didn't have to tell anybody who you were.
now, do you think if you're using Bitcoin and you do some sort of mixing service, does that make you stand out and look sketchy? Because most Bitcoin transactions aren't
Right?
done that way.
I've thought that too, like where it's like, so this one transaction just went into 16 teeny tiny ones for no reason. Like,
No, I mean, I'm not a coder, but from my understanding is it's not that it looks funny it's the amount. Until you're looking at a vast quantity of Bitcoin, which is enough to catch your eye. Like small transactions, especially in the $100 or couple $100 range, especially then breaking down into smaller increments. This stuff happens all the time. This is part of the Bitcoin network. It doesn't stand out. It's more of that background noise. But
so
when
you
you
just
see
blend in.
when you see 500 Bitcoin send in a transaction, that pulls up a blip on the radar. And then they also, different mixing services have different ways of going about it, because some are also called tumblers. And then you can have your services where they send small quantities at different times, or they send it all at once.
Okay.
I actually wrote down the name of one. Helix was the one that was recommended to me for these kinds of dark services, that if you're going to be using a mixer, somebody had recommended this one. I haven't went and checked it out. I guess that would be your next thing, is that if you're going to try, I mean, a mixer is a third-party service. You know,
Right.
you are giving your Bitcoin to a third party. You know, you're no longer controlling your private keys. It is not the dark market that is also, performing the escrow service. So, they could rip you off. So if you went onto the dark web, just picked a mixer at random and threw your Bitcoin at them, you may never get it back.
Yeah, and you know what? If they're reputable, that's probably okay. But what if they just do one out of every 10?
Right,
One
that
out of
they're
every
not
10
really
transactions they
mixing.
steal, and then they say, look, we're legit, but when they get a big one, when they get a really big one, they say, oh, well, time to exit scam. So
Yeah, right. Like they only randomly mix people's stuff and they only randomly steal people's stuff. Yeah. So it's all like, I don't know. There's good and bad reviews. There's good and bad until, yes, they literally are like, this is worth it. Bye.
Yeah. I mean, there's always, whenever you have a third party involved, there's always going to be risk. There's always, the next thing would be to not use a mixer, right? To try to collect Bitcoin anonymously through, like, peer-to-peer transactions, or you have a section of Bitcoin and you break it down slowly or something to be able to send it yourself.
I mean, if you're using a darknet market, you're kind of trusting someone too. Like you're trusting the person to deliver the goods, you're trusting the market not to steal the Bitcoin, but
right,
you
or
want to
to
minimize that as
escrow
much as possible.
Yeah. Right, you're already trusting a handful of people in whatever transaction you're choosing to partake in.
I don't know. I noticed that some of the better markets said that they already provide a mixing service when they have your deposit address. So
Yeah, and they only use the addresses once, and they switch it every 24 hours. So I just want to tell people, be careful and don't like just store the address and send it to it again and again, because then you will lose your Bitcoin.
Right? It's a one-time only kind of deal.
yeah. I mean, it's standard Bitcoin practices that you create and generate a new address every single time you send and receive. So, I mean,
Right? Don't think this vendor has the same. Yes, no. Like,
yes, they're
yes,
trying to also protect themselves as well. So there would be a new a new address generated every time you wanted to make a deposit. Don't just assume that an address was reusable in any way.
Right.
Yeah, because some exchanges, like, you can reuse an address. So for newbies that maybe, most people that watch this channel know about using an address only once, but
You still never know, man. Okay, yes. So, yes.
Well, that's where some of
Only
this was
use it
talking
once.
about. They had preemptive mixing services. So when you were sending it to that address, you weren't sending it to the exchange. You were sending it to a third-party service that was mixing it before they deposited into a wallet address that they controlled and knew about for your account.
Right. Yeah. I don't know, man. It's a lot of trusting of a lot of strangers.
They're partnered with them already. It's
Yes.
like how you talk about like an exchange that's partnered with a different company that does the storage.
Just more people to trust. I'm not trusting. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you're trying to buy something, right? So you want to limit your stuff, and you got to remember that they're businessmen. They're businessmen and women out there trying to make money. They're trying not to get arrested. They're trying to keep their reputation good, because it is just like Amazon and eBay and all that stuff. They have ratings. You can go to other places and check their ratings. It's not just the ratings.
Yeah, I gotta thought that was funny that there is ratings. Yes, but okay, that makes sense.
There's other sites where you can go and plug in their name from the exchange, their vendor name, and it'll tell you if they're on other markets and what kind of ratings people are giving them, not just the ones listed on the markets.
yeah, it's true. A lot of vendors are on multiple markets. So.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, you see the sellers on eBay and Amazon and stuff. I mean, like they're on multiple selling things too. So it's like, wait, is that the same, Chinese cat plushie from the same? Yes, it is. Like, I get it. Why not spread your love around? Yeah.
So, verified vendors, right? This is what we'd want to do next now, right? We're hooked up to the internet. We got some anonymity, right? We're using a VPN. We got Tails. We're using the Tor browser. We got some public Wi-Fi. We got Monero, or we've mixed our Bitcoin. Now we're looking at the market. We want to find a verified vendor.
Right.
Right?
Well, I mean, you know how it goes when you don't know the person, okay, people? I mean, that's when they just never come back. So, obviously, you want to have verification that the other people have actually had good interactions with them. I mean, whether it be return policies or, whatever... productness,
return policy.
Hey, that would be awesome.
It was not up to my standards.
Well, I've seen sometimes if you're ordering internationally and it doesn't show up, maybe they'll refund you like half the price or something.
Oh, right, like customs caught it or whatever. Mm-hmm. That's at least something. Yeah. I mean, that's better than nothing. Half is definitely better than nothing.
And of course, buying in your own country makes it easier, right?
Yeah. Easier and not easier, because that's also how you are able to be indicted and FBI'd, whatnotted, and, state lines and things.
Well, there's less people with hats on that think they're in charge looking at your package saying that they know best.
That is true. I mean, just like I said, I really did have a snack box from Japan that they busted open for God knows what reason. Maybe it was a hungry dog, but whatever reason, they literally busted it open and took one or two things out of it, duct tape it back with custom tape, and slapped a letter on the inside saying, we took out this and this. It's not okay.
So, yeah, that's a hungry dog.
I'm just saying, it was yes, it was food. It was all food, for sure. So really, I don't
But how does
know.
a vendor become a verified vendor? Is it after they do a certain number of transactions and then there's like a trust level type of thing, or they had to pay the exchange, like deposit a certain amount of Bitcoin to the market?
Oh, right, like have a fund in
Yeah,
case.
as
That
far
makes
as
sense.
far as I'm aware, like I'm not a vendor. I don't know a whole lot about vending. From what I get, they have to put up money. Like they have to put up Bitcoin or cryptocurrency. Oh, the camera's out of focus.
Yeah, it is. There you go.
Yeah,
uh,
and at least this used to be like on Dream Market. I think there was certain vendors that were trusted or verified could have a no escrow option, so they get paid instantly
mm-hmm.
without the escrow. So, and the market was very clear, like, do not finalize early. Like, if the vendor is not trusted, they are not allowed to ask you to do that. Do not do that. It could be a scam. So definitely read the market, like, fact or whatever,
Yeah, the
you know?
guidelines.
Yeah, it's worth it. And always read the vendor's description of the item, because they might have certain policies and things like that. And if you send your address unencrypted, they'll probably blacklist you and never sell to you.
Right? I mean, that's like literally like holding up the sign on the street corner or something. No one's gonna. No, no.
Well, that's actually one of the next things I was looking at here. Is I got the PGP keys. Let's see if we can't turn this way. Does that look? There we go. That looks a little better. Ooh, I'm gonna white it out. But yeah, the next thing is the PGP keys. Every vendor has PGP keys. They post it. It's for pretty good privacy. You can download links, and it allows you to encrypt messages or your address or whatever. And that's usually like when you go to like finalize your order, right? And you have Bitcoin or Monero in your account and you go and you pay, it'll say at the very bottom, it'll have a little message or note section or something. And some of these exchanges will do it for you with the PGP.
Mm-hmm.
Others will make you'll have to do your own. You'll have to download this little separate program. You'll put a thing and you'll tie your box, or you'll put their PGP key in it, you'll type in your address in the box, and you'll have it convert it, you'll cut and paste it, and you'll put it back in the memo area and send it. So that when they get it, they can unencrypt it and know what your address is.
Yep, and just something I didn't realize at first with PGP is there's going to be like a lot of asterisks, and then it'll like say start PGP message, and then there's that at the end too, and then there's all these. It's a very long public address that you're gonna have when
so
you.
there's like a header and a footnote that's like dash
Right.
dash, and it'll say start something 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 dash dash dash, and at the bottom it'll
Yeah,
have the thing that'll
version
say
number.
dash dash dash, and it'll say end, and then something dash dash dash. You
Yeah,
make sure
so
you
the
get
key
that.
includes all the headers and footers, so you have to copy that. And the same with when you're sending an encrypted message, you have to put in the asterisks and everything too.
Yep.
Crazy. Okay, so the
Yeah, there's
whole
how-to
big giant
tutorials
thing.
all over YouTube on how to go ahead and do these things. If you just look this stuff up, there's videos. Even though I don't know how these people get away with it with all the strikes they're giving everybody,
Oh,
and
I know,
how
right?
we're sitting here with one strikes. But I mean, they have videos on how to go on and everything, all the way up to them clicking
Yes,
submit.
like buy,
Buy.
whatever. Yes.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. I mean, ugh. I don't know. I think that's a little too ballsy. Just but hey.
So
Maybe that's
I
me.
was thinking about this the other day. If the government suspects you and they see they could put in your address and encrypt it and see if it matches what you sent. If they already have something to go on, maybe. At that point, I guess they're probably already busting you. So I don't know.
Well, I
I guess that would just be like the final evidence-ness.
part of the encryption is also, you put your name at the top of this. And are you putting, like, my name is Eugene Forrest. I say it a million times out here. Am I putting E. Forrest? Am I putting Bob Forrest? Am I
Right.
putting Eugene and then a different last name?
Right?
because
Are
that
you
would
putting
actually change
B,
the way the
forest,
encryption looked.
right? Like, I mean, there's 100 things, but yes, are you
And then,
using?
is your address, are you putting LN for lane, or are you writing it out? Are you writing RD or road?
Yeah, there's a
You
lot
know,
of variations. I
all
mean,
these
I
little
don't think that
things
really
would make it.
happens.
They would make the PGP code look different.
Yeah. What was I gonna say?
Eugene does that all the time to people, where you're all like, "Damn, okay, forget it. I don't
the
have
next
it
thing
anymore."
is that we're looking at is, all right, so what are you doing? Are you going to get it mailed to your house? Do you have a drop house somewhere else that you want to get it sent to? Do you go out and get a P.O. box?
Well,
You get it mailed to grandma.
But P.O. boxes, right? You still have to put your name and do things to get a P.O. box.
Well,
right?
you buy a fake ID on the dark net, and then you know.
Oh, there you go, because that's going to get through customs. I
Right,
mean, no
yeah.
dog is sniffing out a fake ID. That
Right.
could be a credit card, a debit card, anything.
But yeah, I've heard if you're gonna have it shipped to your house, which probably isn't recommended, you should probably use your real name because it's gonna look very suspicious to the post office. They know you, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well,
Mail person goes by every day.
You're lucked out that like half of your half brothers and sisters have lived here for short amount of time and gotten mail. So I mean, yeah, we have like a half a dozen people. It's
yeah, but you wouldn't want to screw over your brother or something and be like, get them in trouble.
Right.
Well, I don't know if it's me going to jail or my brother going to jail. Let me see. I hear jail's nice this time of year.
Some of them like it anyways.
They go often and
Yes.
frequently.
On their own reasons.
Well, I mean, right, because that's usually right where the chink in the chain is that it's coming straight to your house.
That's the next part of the anonymity. Like, that. How do you...
Well, you got plausible deniability. Oh, someone must have used me as a drop house. I don't know. This ain't mine.
Right, that's not mine.
I mean, here in America, you're innocent until proven guilty. But, I mean, at no point do you really want to have to go into court and stand in front of the judge and everybody else and say,
Yes,
I'm innocent, you guys. Do you have enough proof to make me guilty?
Yes, or to see if they do have proof. Did you find ways to, find out? Maybe you didn't use the right something. Maybe you used a free VPN. I mean, you never know, right? Like, do you really want to see what they have in their hand?
Well, then I guess the question is that how did they find about you? Did they go actually investigating and have to, spend money and resources with some cyber team to track you down and break all of this coding? Or did they just notice the package when it came through the mail?
Right.
Because there's a big difference there on what kind of charges you're facing. Because I've also heard that if they find the package in the mail and it's not something like 2 kilos, that they'll send you a letter. Either saying that they're trying to trick you to come pick it up, or they send you a letter saying that there was an illegal package and they would like you to answer about it.
Now,
Like, do you know about it? Do you understand?
Do you get to just be like, I didn't get that letter
I had
either?
just asked about
just
these
ignore
things. Yeah. Well, I heard that you were to just send the letter to your lawyer, and the lawyer would send them a proper response.
What if you don't have a lawyer, man? Like,
Right. What if the problem is that I'm broke?
Yeah. One thing I wanted to mention, I don't know how true this is, but I read sometimes they will get the package and they'll have like an FBI agent deliver it and ask you to sign for it. So sometimes
gotcha.
you shouldn't be signing for things, but sometimes, like especially international packages from like Great Britain or somewhere, you will have to sign. So know if you have to sign or not beforehand. I don't know if they
because
really
that
do
would
that,
be
but-
the easiest way to think. Oh yeah, I just got, and then and
I mean, people sign for anything. People are like, "What a sign, okay," but I don't know.
that is true. Do I get to just play that?
I mean, yeah,
I don't
can
know. I'm
can I-
dumb.
Can I
just
look at the package first
signed
before I
it.
sign for it? Because you're just telling me I got to sign and you're going to hand me something, and I want whatever you're giving me.
But I don't know what it is.
I don't know what it is.
Do I have to? Can I look at it
Yep.
first?
Be mentally prepared.
Well,
But don't be too paranoid. Yeah.
the last thing I had is that I noticed on a couple of the marketplaces when you went to go check out, they had shipping like different options, just like when you're
Oh,
shopping
nice.
at a
Like
normal
2-day,
store.
overnight.
And one of
Yeah.
them was the price was a lot higher. It was like $30-$40, but they were talking about stealth shipping, where they actually take some sort of like a teddy bear or something, and they hide
stuff it
inside of
what?
it, or they just religious packages like Bibles where the center's cut out type deal. That kind of a concept where it's hidden inside of something to help make it.
I mean, it wouldn't get
less
through
noticeable.
an X-rayness, but I mean, but it would get, yes, like you're not opening the box in front of the FBI agent with the kilo just as it is. It's stuffed in a duck or something. Like, at least you're gonna be like, oh, my cookie jar.
Yeah, I mean, vendors ship things in all different ways. Sometimes they come in an envelope. Sometimes they come in a priority box or every which way. All the vendors do it differently, and that's kind of how they make it harder for the feds.
I don't know. I'd like to stealth just because unless you have to, like, I mean, really destroy whatever it is that you're getting it stuffed in, you get a freebie.
You get a freebie.
I'm thinking of stuffing things inside my jars of jam. No.
Yeah, right? You're like, you just gotta get to the bottom, man. It's like the worm, okay?
Wonder why a jar of jam costs $100 and something.
Yeah.
What's in that jam?
You're ridiculous. You're both ridiculous. Although your fruit roll-up things were like freaking amazing.
They were good.
They were really, it was like fruit jerky. It was the best thing I had ever had, and I don't like fruit.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. Glad you like them. I make them with all sorts of things, but like pears, peaches, mango.
Yeah, I saw that one was like a mixed berry or a mixed fruit or something, and then a mango one. They both were awesome. And then Eugene ate all the rest of them, so I don't know what the other ones tasted like.
Oh.
He really likes fruit, okay? Like, all your jams are gone, too.
Well, that's usually all because I work outdoors in the heat. If I eat fruit, it keeps me able to keep going and eating. If I eat like a heavy like a lunch meat sandwich, it slows me down. I don't usually want to keep going. So,
yeah, I like fruit.
Obviously, right?
I just wanted to say you should if you should start an Instagram and you can get 1,000 followers for $5 on the dark net. Maybe some of them are real people now.
Right? Maybe some of them are real people.
Right? Well, if we could get an Instagram for Bitcoin and coffee, it'll be a good start.
500. I mean, that's pretty good for day one of your Instagramness. It'll make others flock to you. I mean, that would hopefully be real.
Yeah. If you get enough Twitter followers, Donald Trump will retweet you.
Oh, Jesus. Because that's...
Anyway, you shouldn't get into that. That'll be a long discussion.
Well, I mean, that pretty much covered up about a lot of the security steps that I had, or the things that, if I were going to start ordering something off the dark web or off the dark markets, the protocols I would, based on what I would want to do. Like, am I just ordering a dab cartridge, or am I ordering a gram of cocaine, or am I getting a bunch of illegal credit cards, that are actually made and printed with the numbers on them?
Are you buying large sums of counterfeit bills or something? I mean, like, these things, like...
They vary, right.
Fake Rolexes.
Oh, right.
Seem like a popular item.
Because everybody needs the bling-bling,
I don't know. I noticed that it seems like it's a lot of drugs because, of course, the war on drugs has been going on for way too long, and people want them. I mean, some people can handle them, some people can't. And then we see that a large quantity of it is the cannabis. Like, I mean, it's like half of the entire market.
The drug market is cannabis.
So
yeah, at least you can tell by the numbers. It's
they have the numbers on the
20,000. Yeah.
20,000.
Yeah.
Right.
So.
And
You know,
I
really
mean,
how.
some vendors have a lot of different listings, but there is a market, I think, that only does cannabis and mushrooms, which I've heard
Ooh.
is
Hey, that's kind
maybe a
of right.
little maybe a little less sketchy to be on that if
Right, a
you're
little
just getting
earthier.
cannabis.
Like, no, man. I didn't even know. No, that's my shiitake mushrooms. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, the other day I was digging around for some good links, you know, because that's the hardest part so far from what I found is finding good onion links. And well, I had come across another one of these dark markets, a new one, and they had liquid shroom, like psilocybin, but it was
Yes,
liquid.
in liquid.
Yeah, and it
Ew.
was like they I didn't even know that some of these freedoms were taken away from me until I seen them out there, and it's like I don't usually do drugs and stuff, but it's just it gives you the
It's
idea.
like, wait, why can't I?
Like,
why
yes,
is this
yes.
on the? Why can't I just have what? It's a fungus, man. Like, really? I mean,
It got me thinking down that avenue. Like I didn't even know this existed. You know, really, what would it be like? Why can't I? And it was just I didn't even know that these were options, and that's how much has been taken from us that we don't even know the options that are out there.
oh,
It's true.
I was
The
watching.
whole wide world.
Yes. Yes, like I was watching it was horrible ancient alien crap or whatever as I was cleaning hotel rooms. Don't judge me, okay? Apparently it was the History Channel loveliness. But they were talking about how shamans used two different plants or whatever and it made DMT and they were like
Yeah, ayahuasca.
yes, and it was
Yeah.
like okay, so, and then they went on to say that this is technically illegal, but because it is like a religion and it is like an actual like form of whatever, like they don't really, but you, like me and you can't take these two plants and mix them together and boil them in some water and then like,
Right.
it's not okay. So it's just like, well, who gets to say that's not okay? I mean, you're literally taking a couple plants. Like, what are you talking about?
Right. What's the big one? The angel trumpets that are growing in everybody's front yard.
Yes. I mean, technically those can also kill you if you're stupid, but I mean, yes. Like,
Could I just make a quick point about the links? So some of these markets, you put your money in there, and to buy something, you don't need to like put in your PIN number. Some of them have a PIN number to withdraw. So it makes you feel like you have extra security, but if you go to a phishing link, the hackers will probably be sophisticated enough to have their own listings on the website, so they don't need your PIN. They can just buy their own item from your account and
right?
then cover the evidence. So don't be thinking you're not going to get phished just because you have a PIN number or something.
Right. It is really do your own due diligence. Like you really need to like
I mean,
look into I mean, you could go to jail and you could go to jail for a long time. What levels of security and lengths of education would you go to not be imprisoned?
True. I mean, from the best practice would be to once you find a good link to these markets or a market or the market you're going to use, you bookmark it and you keep using that bookmark over and over and over and over again until it doesn't work.
Because then it would be the same vendor and the same like
because
the same
because
exchange.
then you
well,
know
the,
that
yes,
that link is not a phished link.
Yes, right.
And then sometimes the link will go down. They do change them, and then you will go searching, to find another good link. And then once you get on, as long as you run a risk, but once you know that that's a good link, you bookmark it and you keep using that one, and that way you'll get. I mean, I think the one that I have, I bookmarked it way back when I started the dark web stuff, so 2 months ago, and I've been able to use it every single time that I went to go hop on since, and I haven't had to change it yet.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's not too sketchy to have a bookmark. Like they come and search your computer and they're like, oh, we found a bookmark. Okay, I don't know.
I mean, it pretty much does just like what you're saying. If they're coming in and taking and seizing a computer or looking at your computer, then you're already screwed. So, I mean, it is a...
Yeah.
I mean, are you going to believe what I say or not? because those are your two options. And then what can you do or what can you prove from that point onward?
Right, and this is back to where it comes to the question is, what are you doing and what, because, yeah, I mean, if you're the vendor or you're ordering, a kilo of heroin or something, then, yeah, you want tails. You want 2 flash drives that you're able to destroy.
You want a burner laptop, yes.
In different locations so that way they're not coming in and capable of taking these things. They're not capable of getting their hands on this information to use against you.
Yeah, just going back to the links real quick, Reddit used to have links. They really cracked down. Like, the government shuts these sites down. You know what sucks about the darknet? Is entering the damn captchas.
Yeah.
Nobody likes doing that.
No.
No, man. You know how many times it tells me it's the wrong one?
They have to because they get so much denial of service attacks and hackers and stuff.
Right. That makes sense, though. But, I mean, yes. Dude, every time it's like, that's a C, bro. I don't know what you're telling me it's not. Like, how is that not the right caption? Okay. I vented.
Well, is there anything else that you want to talk about, Josh, before we go ahead and I guess start wrapping up this episode?
We're at an hour.
Yeah, it looks like we're coming in on close to the hour mark. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can't edit some of this video a little bit tonight and get it uploaded for you guys to view in the morning. I have another pre-recorded episode that we will be filming tomorrow night at 8 o'clock as well with the Fundy AU from Australia. So this will be his second interview with us.
Yep.
It should be good, right? We love Fundy AU.
I love talking to people.
We love talking to people down in Australia. It's great. He is a Litecoin fan. Last time I checked in with him, he has solar panels on his roof, and he's been mining some Litecoin, possibly at a loss, but still.
Oh, but that's still cool.
Contributing
it's so,
to the
like,
network.
Greeny and yeah, right. I don't know.
So we look forward to that conversation. If you guys like this video, if you like everything we got going on around here, hitting the thumbs up really helps. Sharing it out helps a lot too, and that costs you guys absolutely nothing. I'm also going to go ahead and put a couple links down below that'll go to my emails so that you guys can ask some questions, because of course I provide a free cryptocurrency help desk. But if you have questions about any of this dark web stuff, I'm sure that between me and Josh, we'd be able to give you a helping hand or point you in the right direction. We're not here trying to help anybody do anything illegal or get their hands on illegal stuff.
Just education.
But we are here for educational purposes and technology. We love to see the flourishment, right, of our personal rights grow as we can expand the technology and the anonymity that it creates through the Tor browsing and a lot of these other things that are starting to come into fruition as the networks are controlled, right?
Everybody has the right to enlightenment. I mean, really? You don't have to sit in the dark, even though it's called the dark web.
I couldn't agree more. And just a quick note, you should look into Eternity Crypto. That's the ticker is AE. You can check out my channel, Pump My Bags, and yeah, I'm really impressed. You two really learned a lot quick with the darknets. You seem to really know what you're talking about.
I've always had a little bit of a knack for technology. Ever since I was, 13 years old, and my grandfather got a computer, and we had a dial-up 14.4 modem,
Yes,
and I started trying to play World of Warcraft with all my friends in the neighborhood by dialing them up on their computers. I've always tried to embrace this stuff, and I guess I kind of always stayed away from the dark web because I always thought it was illegal,
Yep.
I was like, and I'm not into drugs, and
that there was
the
absolutely
illicit
nothing.
photos is always something that they always talk about, and that's nothing I like.
Yeah.
I don't want to see it, I don't want to pollute my body and my mind with those things, so I stayed away from it. But now that I've dug into cryptocurrency so far, I see that there is more technology expansion that needs to happen with our personal freedoms and rights. And I think the dark web is part of this. So I'm going to start digging into it. I'm going to start trying to understand this the best I can. And I appreciate you saying that, Josh. It makes me feel smart that you're telling me I think I have a little bit of a handle on this, because I did not know any of this. And I actually look towards you, towards getting me the proper footing in this.
Yeah, and don't let it go to your head. I think people should. I just think it goes to show that it's not rocket science, and that if you really take the time to understand it, you can access this stuff. And hey, as long as you're not hurting anyone else.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I mean,
I don't really have a problem with it.
Yeah, all of this stuff, all of these terms and the technology that we're talking about using, you can YouTube all of this. That is literally how I took the time. A couple forums that I read a few things, but a lot of this was just YouTube videos, me watching them in the background while I was writing emails and doing other work on the laptop, watching it on the TV. I mean, the Tails and the VPN stuff, I did not know anything about Tails before 2 days ago. I had never even heard of the operating system.
That's kind of cool. I mean, if you were doing some high-end
I mean, it's
stuff,
Linux-based.
I mean,
it's a Linux-based online or live operating system that connects all internet traffic through the Tor browser.
And it's the 2, and I mean, you have to. I mean, it's kind of.
Yes, it is pretty fascinating.
Yeah, that's a little higher level, but
the next thing would be like the Tor bridges. I also started looking into that you can mess around with these Tor bridges, and that you could also do the Tor bridges on top of the Tails, and that's what people would go about doing since the VPNs are harder to do. But I mean, we're also talking about the people that would want to be sending 5 kilos of cocaine and stuff. That these
or buying or whatever.
Right, that
yes,
they would
right?
want to be taking these kind of safety protocols.
Right. I mean,
they would be using Tails. They would want to be using public Wi-Fi. They would want to be building Tor bridges. They would want to be, doing all of this in a virtual box while they're using a VPN router.
And I think you probably could buy maybe not 5 kilos of cocaine. You're not gonna buy a whole barge. You're not gonna buy a whole shipping container from that one that got busted a month ago from Wells Fargo or whatever.
Right? It's no, that whole ship is mine, bro. Yep, that whole one.
Things range from $3 for a tab of acid with free shipping, all the way up to $50,000 for whatever. But I have never seen anything more than 50,000.
Dude, but 50,000 is a decent chunk. I mean, that really is.
It is.
I think some of the ones I seen, they had minimums, and they were $25 and $30 minimums. And then I thought
I mean, all I'm hearing is that you have to buy 7 tabs of acid.
Some places, other places will be first one's free. Seriously.
Hey, there you go. Oh, right, because it is paper. I mean, they're not even they're slapping a 49-cent stamp or whatever on it. I mean, it's not even anything crazy.
Right. Samantha's nodding her head. She wants the free. Samantha's
I love the free. Bro, I got into
I don't know. Don't quote me on that, but it's cheap.
You type in, Josh said it was free. I mean, I don't know. I do think, like you, I really did think that there was absolutely nothing except super bad. Super bad. And that was it. Mm-hmm. And it's no, there's so much more than just super bad.
Right.
And it's but it's still all in the same, it's all on the same web.
The next dark web episode that we plan on doing is going to be another one of the screen shares that me and you are going to do, Samantha.
The bat.
Oh, he's over there on the tree.
Yep.
Okay, so the next dark web episode we're going to do, Samantha, is a screen share. I already started saving up some bookmarks. I found a few interesting ones. I'm trying to lean away from the things that you would normally think you would see out here. I started trying to find other alternative, why would you want to use the dark web if you're not just going to come on here to buy drugs?
Okay.
So I'm not going to reveal any of the links I have. You'll have to stay tuned. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. Do all that good stuff. And look forward to these episodes. I've been trying for one a week. We had a little bit of a hold up last week. The rain messed everything up. But we do got one out this week. We'll be seeing about trying to get the next one out next week.
Hey, I'll be staying tuned and have a good interview with the Fundy AU. That's
I look
cool.
forward to that. You guys, you got to hit the subscribe button to find that interview with Fundy AU. He's a great guy. He's very knowledgeable. And, I mean, we love hearing him from the land down under.
I love just talking to people, man. We need all our people. I wish the little chat was actual voices. That would be awesome, because then it would be talking to everybody. Instead of me having to read it.
I suggested that a while ago to have a little group chat.
See? Yes, he did. I remember. Mm-hmm. We should.
Well, I mean, every single episode, I tell everyone that I'm looking for help. I want someone to come help me make my thumbnails. I want someone to put timestamps on the video. I'm always looking for interviews. I'm looking for people to help me design the flyers. So if you want to get involved in any way, there's something you think you have to contribute to Bitcoin and coffee or the cryptocurrency space, right here's a great place, right? We're a not-for-profit organization. None of this money ever goes back into our pockets in any way. We just want to help Bitcoin. We want to help the cryptocurrency. And now we want to get out here and try to understand the dark web, as we see that this is one of the next spaces that cryptocurrency has helped develop by creating a digital currency for them to be able to use in these marketplaces.
The financial freedom gave more freedom.
Yes, exactly, Samantha.
Real talk. And even if someone is like less experienced that maybe wants to come on, like we can all learn from their experience and maybe their misconceptions or whatever, and we can learn how to educate better. So
Yeah, I do like it when you hear, like, I don't know, the people, like your first mistake, because it's like, oh, I remember my first mistake. I remember where you're coming from, like, for sure.
Is that going to do it for this episode, Samantha?
Well, we're only 7 minutes past an hour. Why not?
Josh, thank you so much for coming out here. I really do appreciate it. It has been fantastic having you as a guest once again. I really do appreciate these episodes that we're creating here. I think that they will go out and help the community be able to get a good understanding on what's going on here. And I think as the future progresses and people look back, we're making something here, right? Because the future is cryptocurrency. The future is having the privacy that you see out there on the dark web. And, I mean, the war on drugs will come to an end someday.
Just another part of the revolution.
Exactly.
Yep. Salute.
Later, buddy.
Peace.
All right, Samantha. Go ahead, I guess, hit that button, end this episode. I hope you guys have a great evening. I really do appreciate you coming out here. I look forward to seeing you in our next episode of Bitcoin and Coffee. Don't forget to come join us, ask those questions, and talk to Samantha. Thanks, guys. Later.